So I've been an entrepreneur since 2011. During that 12-year journey, I started a lot of companies, I sold a few, I had some pretty big wins, but I've also had some massive losses. And in this video, I wanted to share those with you. Go over some of the numbers, go over the story as to why I lost, and some key takeaways to help you not make the same mistake. So the total amount of money is over $200,000 in losses. Now, I've had a few other losses as well, but I wanted to touch on these specific losses because they cover different areas of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, and an investor. Hey, really quick, if you have a pretty big loss, comment below what your biggest loss is. And if you have no losses, you're crushing it at business, comment a big 0 below because you haven't lost yet. So the losses range from me owning a digital agency where basically we had a client not pay us a very large sum of money, me investing into very risky stock market penny stocks, and also starting a brand new business with other partners. And these three scenarios, again, are all different, but have lost a decent amount of money. Okay, so loss number 1, penny stocks. Back in about 2016, I randomly stumbled upon this guy on YouTube, and he said, I can take you from $1,000 to $100,000 following my trade strategy. Follow my picks, I'll send you emails and give you updates and alerts. So at the time, $100,000 to me was more like $1 billion. So I decided, hey, let's try it out. Sure enough, as I tried this out, I invested around $4,000. I basically ended up losing all of it. I ended up selling it years later, and I think I got $1,000 left from that money, and I basically just bought 1 stock of Tesla and 1 stock of Apple, and I still have those to this day. I would say the moral of the story is don't just find some random person on YouTube and follow their advice. Do a lot of research, start slow, understand how things work, then progressively start doing more. That was just dumb, and I regret that, but it's a learning experience, and I hope you take this, and I hope you don't make that same mistake. The second loss, this one totals about $50,000. What happened was I bought some gym equipment. Funny enough, I actually made a video about that. You can go check it out. I went over all the numbers, I went over the deal, I went over the purchase, I went over the setup. It's kind of fun to look back on that now. Seeing me as a young, optimistic person in business, you know, a relatively newer entrepreneur, trying new ventures. Looking back on it now, it was a big mistake. So what happened was I had a buddy I went to college with. He was working for a gym. This gym owner knew of a company in Arizona that was going out of business. They had a bunch of gym equipment, they were doing a liquidation sale. So what we decided to do was me, my buddy from college, and this other gym owner was we were gonna buy this gym equipment from Arizona. We're gonna put it under this new LLC, and we were gonna rent this gym equipment to the guy who owned the gym because he needed gym equipment. So what we did was we bought the gym equipment for around $90,000 to $100,000. We put half of that money down and we seller financed the other 50% of it. Eventually, we made all the payments, we had the equipment free and clear, and things were looking very good. Based on a 5-year projection, we're gonna be making quite a bit of passive income. We don't have to do much. We own this equipment. It's basically being rented to our partner who owns this gym, and in the agreements, if there's any breakdown, if there's any maintenance, the gym renter has to do those updates. Here's where things turn south. The gym owner, not to our knowledge, was going through financial hardships, and things progressively got worse as he started missing payments to us. We found out he was in a very bad spot, and he was trying to sell his gym in order to pay us what he owed us from all the missed rental payments. What ultimately happened was he basically sold the gym with all of the equipment without telling us, without our permission, essentially stealing tens of thousands of dollars on top of all the missed payments from the rental agreement that he had with us. We decided, well, we're gonna sue you. And once we started to look into the litigation process and suing somebody, we found out it's not really gonna be worth it because we're gonna spend tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees And what we realized is if you get the settlement from the judge, you still have to collect that money. On top of that, here's the kicker. He said, hey, you could come after me. I did what I did. But basically, if you do win, I'm gonna claim bankruptcy because I have no money. And those are all legitimate options. He could claim bankruptcy and not pay us, and we could spend tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees, a bunch of wasted time. We may never get that money back. So we decided to just walk away from it. That was a significant loss. So the moral of the story, kids, is never do business with somebody who you just don't know, even if you have a very good friend or a partner that vouches for somebody else. But sometimes you just can't control certain things and you do get screwed over, and that's just the cost of doing business. So the last one stings a little more. This one we lost about $160,000. So I have a digital agency called Kairos Digital where we build software for clients. We were building a digital platform. Years ago, things were going fine. We launched the product, they wanted updates, they wanted improvements, they wanted maintenance, we kept building. We were going right along pace of everything that was agreed to. Where things started to turn south was they owed us quite a bit of money. We're talking about almost $100,000 plus for an invoice. We sent them the invoice and they kept promising us they're gonna pay us by next week, by next week, by next week. If your team keeps working on this and fulfilling what we're talking about and helping us out, we're gonna pay you. We're gonna pay you for the past invoice. We're also gonna pay you for all these things that we're asking for right now. This kept going on for about a month and a half, where we just got fed up and said, listen, we are not going to work on this anymore unless you pay this invoice. This is where things got really bad. They went MIA for quite some time. We kept sending the invoice, which was around $160,000 at this point, and they finally came back to us and they claimed, hey, this didn't happen, you guys didn't do this, our system got hacked, all these things are going on. If you guys don't waive that invoice, we're gonna sue you. So we said, okay, bring it on. We have a contract, we fulfilled our obligations, we feel we're in the right. So we had a few different conversations, things led nowhere. We eventually hired and retained an attorney to try to go after them. It got to the point where we were spending tens of thousands of dollars in retainer fees and legal fees, and we ultimately just walked away from it. We basically just lost a bunch of time, we lost a bunch of money. So the moral of the story, if you're a service-based business, make sure you have really good contracts. Make sure in your contract you state if your invoice is late, we can stop working and we can walk away. So there's a lot of lessons learned here, a lot of money lost, a lot of time lost, but I hope these failures help you out in the future with your journey becoming an entrepreneur, a business owner, an investor. Those are some of my biggest losses. They are what they are. It's just part of doing business. But again, I hope this helps, and I will see you in the next video.